I really would love to like see a mirror first. Some kind of reflection. So let's go for a coffee. Okay, this is going to be really weird if you're like, yeah, you're going to be in this at all? You know, you're not just a cameraman, Sam, you're our creative producer. In fact, actually, you should be in front of the camera more. You're very much in the, yeah, suit the ASQ vibe, you know? You know, Sam, can we go down the other way? Can we go down there? There's a set of stairs, but let's go down there because there was a really cool, graffiti on some like glass tiled wall down there yesterday when we were coming back from the supermarket because I had to buy chocolate because I was hungry. I think Michael took a photo of this on his first day. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So look, there's I'm pretty sure that's an Australian gum over here. Yeah, I've got one of those growing on my balcony. That's a like a winter gum, or like a winter eucalyptus. Beautiful. Actually, those are we've got leaves from that tree that we'll be using in Yilamum. I don't know. We'll talk about this when we sit down because I've been having some pretty deep thoughts. But you know, good ones. Good choice. Lovely. Thank you very much. I would love a tiny bit of milk for my tea. It's like, well, I mean, Amsterdam, firstly, what it's like is it's not snowing, and I wanted it to snow. When I went for a run yesterday afternoon, just as the sun was setting, it was still 10 degrees, which, if you think about it, that's a Melbourne winter. There's not even a Melbourne winter, that's a Melbourne summer, considering the summer we've just had. So, like, I wish it was snowing, but I'm glad it's not icy, because it's been really pleasant to run around the canals and the islands and see the fabulous, you know, everything you think of the Netherlands and Amsterdam is what it looks like. So, and then there's what we're here to do, the festival, is that I've been looking forward to so many things, and I'm kind of ashamed to say I've been looking forward to attending concerts more than I have been looking forward to actually doing my job. And the first night we got here, we had a day of rest. So thank you so much to the ASQ team for facilitating our travel, but also the rest after those 30 odd hours of travel. And then the first concert was Danish String Quartet, and they walk on stage is a beautiful introduction. And they walk on stage and the violist speaks, which I always love, this really articulate voice. And some of the first words he said was that we all do this same thing, all string quartets. We live the same life, we do the touring, we do the rehearsing, but we never do it together. We never run into each other. He said it's like ships passing in the night, and he said it's like, this is like the Suez, you know, almost you know, we're not passing in the night, we're all here, and that's something I've never experienced, not before joining the quartet, and certainly not since. We all share the same experiences, and we all play on the same stages, but just not at the same time. So that is the most wonderful thing. Well, firstly, I should say I imposed myself this morning at breakfast and on Tobias Zimmerman, one of my I cannot articulate how much I love this woman. How much respect I have for her, and how huge impact she's had, not just on my life, but on the generations of violists. Such a trailblazer. You know, huge amounts of commissions, concertos, and chamber music, and anyway, I asked if I could join her for breakfast, and that was just one of the highlights of my life. You know, I feel like the experiences so far are already having an impact, and I guess a way to articulate that might be that music, up past a certain point, you know, when you're learning your notes and you're learning the rules, the rights and wrongs, you do this, you don't do that, and all of that. Past that point, it really comes down to matters of taste. And I've been thinking a lot about where taste comes from, you know, and I don't believe anything is innate. You know. I think it's just something really, maybe it's an Australian thing, being so far removed from the Western Germanic, you know, Western classical world, not just Germanic, of course, but we think it's got nothing to do with blood, it's got nothing to do with lineage, it's got to do with experiences. And it's got to do with the music that's on the page. And I was just thinking, where does one's taste come from? It comes from your experience. And the more experiences you have, the more your taste develops. And you can understand whether something is good or maybe not so, whether you like it or not. If something's extraordinary, but not to your taste, you know, I mean, everything's been to my taste so far, don't get me wrong, but like there's been so many different ideas and so many different ways that things can go, and being able to sit down and hear, you know, like 6 Bartok quartets in one day with like 3 different quartets, and the night before seeing Schubert quartet and Ades, oh my god, the Danish string quartet is just so stunning, but you know, different violinists and different violists and all these things in a melting pot in one place. It's just so many experiences, and I find myself kind of overwhelmed because it's all of those experiences that influence and inflect like what your taste is as an artist. And I feel like already it's just been like, you know, when you're playing Mario Kart and you get that surge button, and like suddenly I feel like that's what's happened. Like I feel like I've already experienced so far in the first couple of days a decade worth of experiences that would, in another world, affect me over a long time. But now I feel slightly overwhelmed because I have lots of trust and faith and like respect for the way I play, for the way the ASQ plays, and then there's just so many new experiences to kind of push and pull things in different directions. My teacher once said you can take, I always remember this, you can learn something from anyone. You can learn something from everyone, even if it's what not to do. And that really has always struck with me because, yes, sure, to do or not to do, there's such a spectrum in between. You can pick and choose different types of sound from all these fabulous musicians and go, I would take that and leave that and do all of these beautiful things. And suddenly it's this extraordinary tapestry of taste and artistry that you want to kind of search towards, you know. That was such a monologue. You got me, like, yeah.
But you summed it up so well.
Spent a lot of, it's just the thing is, as I was saying before, I wish I'd studied philosophy because I spent so much time thinking about why? Why do I like something, why do I feel something goes a certain way? It's like, oh, you feel it, and it's like, it's not innate, it's not just magic that comes from the soul. It's influenced by all of the things that you've heard in your life that make you like something in particular. You know, I'm such a fan of opera and period performance, like historically informed performance practice and all that stuff. And there are other people that aren't. And the reason that I love that stuff is because of the experiences I had earlier on in my development that exposure. And this is the most extraordinary exposure that a string quartet musician can have. Certainly the most extraordinary experience I've had as a quartet musician. Can you order a cappuccino? There's no chocolate on that. And I don't think that's Earl Grey tea, and I've just put milk in it.
Because I don't quite know how to end this.
It's not an end though, is it?
Just
Like that we haven't even started performing yet. Well, what are we doing? We're sitting in a cafe. Well, tonight we're off to the ambassador's residence to perform with Lou. And so I've got to go home, back to the hotel and do some ironing. So
About it.
that's probably it.
Thanks for your time.
It's nice. It's just so nice to have so many violists around, you know. Yeah, go on.
You're with your people.
Yeah, it's nice.
You're nice.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks.